Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to another interview of Fellowship of the Golden Age. And with me today, I have Petra. Hi, Petra.
Hello. Hi, Neptune.
Hi. And believe it or not, this is like our second interview, but it's not because we weren't satisfied with her first one. It's just like the recording just got stuffed up and so we're coming back again. And you know what's kind of cool? It's sort of like, I have memory of what you talked about in that first interview, and I'm wondering, are you going to talk about the same things or is there going to be something else? Like, because you're more now, like even though it was a few days ago.
Yes. And you know what I thought?
What?
I thought it was only gonna last for the 10 minutes that went wrong. So I was not prepared. I was not prepared to do it all again. But okay, we're gonna see what will come up.
Yeah, you'll be right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Yeah, I wonder if you're going to talk about the same things and
I'm curious too. We'll see.
let's find out then.
Yes, we'll
Yeah,
find out.
only Petra and I will know, like, the truth of like, yeah, what happened, what is. But, yeah. Okay, so today, in this moment, as compared to the last moment when we spoke, how would you describe a separate self today?
Oh my. Well, separate self for me is just like well, everything that's born from separation, if we would put it that way, like every thought, every feeling that's every tension, um every judgment about myself, about other people, opinion, pain, like everything that I experience that is not in peace or in that neutrality, like the conscious you is neutral. It knows no fears, no tension, like all those things. That for me are separate selves. So there are innumerable separate selves, and I see them every day. Whatever I do, every reaction to people or things, or every reaction even to myself, is a separate self. You know, they can be good, they can be bad, like the highs, the lows, also separate selves. I can't describe it in words because they are everywhere, and I see it also in other people,
Mhm.
like when they act a certain way, when they react a certain way, and then I have a reaction to that reaction, then I feel, oh, that's also separate self. So we are constantly experiencing ourselves through these separate selves, and the conscious you experience itself through all these separate selves. So yes, it's just a journey and it's just an adventure. I experience it that way, and it's also kind of funny to see myself from, oh, I was that, and then, oh, I'm not that anymore. So yes, it's a lot of, I can't describe it in one words, but it's all that I'm not, I think,
Yes.
the real me.
Yeah. And there was something like in Kim's interview, where he was sort of saying like in the past we were given like this thing that like, there's this ego and that's not the real self, but but we weren't realizing like, it's actually a whole bunch of cells, individual
Yes.
cells. And we have to address each one of them one by one, which, when you're starting out, it's pretty friggin' daunting. But so can you give an example of like, one of those selves, like that you've pulled away and seen?
Yes, I right now I'm working now on the selves that have this judgment about myself or opinions. They are not like aggressive selves, but they still are there. and that's okay. I accept it, and I don't like them, but I really know it's just not me, and I'm grateful to experience it and to work on it so that I can let go of it and I'm more free. But I really had one separate self that was like my whole life. I felt I was that self, you know, I couldn't let go of it. And that was a self that really I felt kind of I need a relationship to feel a whole because I felt unwhole. I felt that I was just half. And I really thought and experienced also that hole in my that lack in myself. And I thought that when I had a partner, a love-based relationship, then I would be complete and I would be whole, you know. And I'm also from a culture where relationships are very important, you know. There's no, when you are a woman, and it's normal that you have a relationship, it's normal that you marry. It's not normal, well, now it's more normal than a few years ago, but it's just common that you marry, that you have a relationship, that you have partner, that you have children. And you as a woman need a man because the man will protect you. So it's very important in my culture. So I think it's something that that's it, that I have from the culture in which I grew up, but also then you have that collective consciousness, you know, where everyone wants to have a partner, and like the story of a prince and a princess, you know, and all those things. So I just, but it was a very strong thing in myself that I really felt it was not, it was just, how you call it? Like a prison. I felt like imprisoned by it.
Mhm.
And I let go of it finally after a long, long time. Like last December, I get rid of it. If I let it go, I gave it up. And then I really experienced a lot of freedom. And now I have that freedom to like to work on other things and not the like the worldly things, the things I desire, or from that sense of lack, you know. I don't work that way anymore. I don't see the world like that because I really feel that I'm now I finally know that I'm protected, that I'm nurtured, that I'm not separated, that I am safe with myself, you know. I don't need anything from or anyone outside of myself to feel joy, to feel joyful, to experience joy, uh, to feel safe. I've experienced it, that I have it right now in myself.
Mm, mm.
So that's a whole another experience of life that I didn't have ever in my life experience, because I always thought I need something else or someone else to just survive in this world.
Yeah, yeah. That's a really, I think it's a good example, and a lot of us can relate to that. And just as you were saying, like it's like when we're in that separate self, it's like being in a prison. And it was just occurring to me, it's like the masters, they give us the keys through the teachings and the invocations, but we're the ones who are holding on to this key, and it's just a matter of working out how to turn that lock and open
Yes.
the door. Like sometimes we just get so used to being trapped inside of that prison. It's kind of, but once we get it open and open the door, then oh, it's like, yeah, I can breathe at last, and freedom.
Yes, and I think only I think maybe you recognize it, that when you are a woman, I felt this way. Like I'm a woman, I'm less. So I had a separate self that felt that because I was a woman, I'm less. I need to be protected. I need to be nurtured. I need someone to like stand next to me because I can do it. You can do it on your own. It's not, they won't listen to you. So I also had a self that felt like, you are a woman, you have to be attractive, you have to be beautiful.
Yep.
You don't say like thing that challenge other people, because then you are not attractive anymore.
Mm.
You know, then they will reject you. The men will reject you. They don't want a woman who stands on her own 2 feet and who just challenges, well, like challenges, like telling my truth, you know. And it's kind of also, there's truth in it, because like a week ago I met an old friend, and he was kind of attracted to me when we were young, and now I saw him, and then he told me like he told me about his struggle. And then I told him something back, but it was just a wise thing, you know. It's not like, oh yes, you know, the thing I was in, like when I was young, then I have to be that attractive woman. No, I was now someone who just told my truth to him, and it was confronting, but I really saw that he, like, it was a whole nother connection we had right now. And he just told me, oh yes, I wish you all the best and it's okay. He was not saying all those things that he said like 10 years ago, like, oh, you're nice, or you know, all those things. It was not there anymore. So at first, in the past, I was afraid of it, that men will turn away because they would not like the real me. And now I'm happy to be that, because I don't want to have these people or men around me who just like my who feel attracted to me on that like sexual thing, you know. So
Yeah.
that's like a change. The woman, yes, I experience, it's very different, but I like it.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's ongoing. Like I know all women relate to this, like for me as a child, it was sort of I could see how my mother would act, and there was like this projection, like women were treated well in my family, but there was this thing where men were intellectually superior and the woman is not as intellectually intelligent. And I was only like tiny, like 5 years old, and I would challenge my father and say, I can see what you're doing, like, and I just allowed myself the freedom to express myself, and but also I developed a self which sort of refused to have anything to, I thought I'm not going to be submissive to men. So I just then projected that
Yes.
all men were like that. I didn't realize I didn't have to play the role. So I played more of a, just,
Yes.
I don't know, I wouldn't call it aggressive, but it was a very, yeah, just push men away sort of a role,
Yes.
my defense. But,
I did the same thing.
mhm,
But I realized I did the same thing at first because it felt like I have power as a woman. I finally have power, because when I was a little girl, I also had that struggle with my father. We had always that struggle with each other because I didn't want him to dominate me. I hated it that men dominated women, because I saw it also in my culture, in my family, you know. Men were here, women are there, and that's just it. I couldn't stand it. And I know that I had this thought, I'm never going to be like my mother, who just, you know, she was just serving my father. And I didn't want to be that way. But at the same time, when I was 17, 18, I felt that power, like I'm going to be the boss right now, you know, and it worked.
mm,
But it worked in that way that I could like attract men and that I could push them away, you know? It
yeah,
was not something that I really wanted to do, but it was just like this mechanism that like on the one hand, it gave me power. On the other hand, I felt bad about it because I was not, it was not possible for me to have a relationship that was love-based. So I switched to the other self.
Yeah.
Like, okay, then I'm gonna just to save this relationship because I want to have a relationship. Then I switched to the other part, like, okay, you are the boss. I'm just serving you. And then I became what I didn't want to be. And also that didn't work out for me. So after all these struggles, all these years, I finally broke out of this whole relationship thing. Like, you know, it's not this, it's not that, but it's really something else
Yes.
that
Yes.
I'm longing for and that I really experienced. Like, because when you experience it, you know, like there's nothing, there's you are so beyond these early things and longings and desires, because you know that you really have that in you and around you and everywhere, you know. So I'm just happy to to just that I'm free of it. Like,
Yeah.
so that was my struggle lately, and I'm working on it. Like, I still have some pain of the last thing that happened, the last relationship that opened this whole thing up. But I'm happy to experience that connection right now, because all these men, all these relationships and desires were standing between me and my I am presence, between me and the masters, because I was still focused on outside, you know, and now I'm not.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think absolutely, everybody will relate to that feeling of like when we're in that relationship and it's coming to an end and we're just feeling so drained of all energy and we've lost ourselves. But then that incredible feeling when we make that cut in our minds, like that's it, I'm done. And all of a sudden you just feel your light comes back and it's like, oh, it's me, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Like, we've lost ourselves. And
Yes.
yeah, and so really
Yes.
what that is, it's our connection with our I am presence
Yes.
coming into us once again, and where it belongs. It's not meant to be
Yes.
going out. And but some people live their whole lives like that, just
Yes.
this. Wow.
Yes, I'm that that's the reason that I feel so grateful that I knew and I experienced, like, oh, this is just like, this is it, what I was looking for my whole life, what I was, that wholeness, or that, that feeling that I really don't need anyone. I really have everything already, and I can give instead of I want to have something. That's the real switch. And
Mm.
yes, I'm happy that I and grateful that I may experience that, because I know a lot of people don't, so I'm blessed to have that, to leave the world behind, if it is today or tomorrow, or over a long period of time, knowing that, yes, I'm not half anymore, you
Yes.
know
Yes.
yes.
Yay. Yeah, I'm glad that you're whole. So
I'm
so
not there yet, but I'm working on it.
yeah, yeah. Well, already whole, but just, removing all the stuff that's not real. So would you go on and now just flow on and, tell us your story, dear Petra? Like,
Like, I grew up in Croatia.
huh?
I was born here. I'm in Croatia. I'm visiting my parents, a short holiday for 2 weeks. I still have one more week left. I do the conference here in Croatia with my parents. Well, not with my parents. I do it and they just are present. But I like to come here because that's my like retreat from all the worldly things, from my work and all those things. So I have more time to spend with myself and like working on myself, seeing like what selves do I have, what I need to let go of, what am I involved with when I'm in Holland, because I live in Holland. But I was raised here, and I was here until the age of 7, and then we went to Holland. And I was raised up in freedom. Like I was the whole day, I wanted to be outside. I was playing with all kind of animals, chickens. I don't know. I don't know how you said it in English, but they just jump around. They are in the grass and they just jump around
The
like
grasshoppers.
yes. In Holland, you say sprinkhanen. Like, well, I grew up here and it was just very nice. I didn't want to go to school because I loved the freedom. I was always playing. I was always outside. And when we went to Holland, I really experienced like someone robbed me from my freedom. You know, I didn't feel safe at Holland. I just really felt I have all kind of obligations there. I have to go to school. I have to. And the first time I know I came to school at Holland, they say this is a wild child, you know. And then my parents were like, "Oh my God, you have to be different, you know. You have to conform to what a school, to the norms and all those things." So I really felt that it was not good to be myself. So there it started, you know. I have to fit in. I have to be like the other children, but I have to also, I always wanted to be a good student. I always had to be like the best student. And I was a good student, but it was just like, it was never enough. Also in my work, I have to accomplish more and I have to be more. And also it was from my culture, from my parents, it was so important that I accomplish something. So there was a lot of tension, and I also experienced a lot of things during that whole time that I was in Holland. And it took me a lot of years to just adopt myself and to feel that I'm finally home there, because I always felt that I've lost something because my parents took me away from my home. So I thought. So because I grew up in Croatia in freedom, I thought Croatia is freedom and Holland is like a prison. But because now I go to Croatia very often and I see the reality, like it's not better here, you know. It's the same, the people, the consciousness here, it's not better. It's not that all people are free, because I experienced freedom during my first 7 years, you know. That was totally different. I took that, like that snapshot of Croatia, like Croatia's freedom, and I always thought that that was it, but it was not. So now I experience just like in Holland. I'm very happy to be there, you know, because I never have accomplished this. I never would found that spiritual path. I think if I was not there, my parents would be different. Like they are now open and conscious, more conscious. They are working on themselves. My whole family is working on themselves. Because of the growth we experienced in Holland and the opportunity that we had in Holland, that we don't have here, you know, if we would be here. So yes.
So what sort of transpired for, to really propel you on your spiritual seeking journey?
Well, it was especially the struggle in my relationship and the burnout that I experienced from the last relationship that I had. And I just it, I don't know, I was totally burned out. And I know that I found the path, I don't know, during my, not before my burnout, I found it, the teachings.
Mm.
And I know the first thought, I thought, what is this? Ascended master students? Really? Can I trust this? Is it not kind of a sect or something? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I really thought, well, like, is it all okay? I mean, and it took me a while to
How
just
long ago was that roughly? Like,
it's almost 6 years ago.
okay,
It's
yeah.
6 years ago, yes, yes. And then I kind of began to read, and I did the invocations, and I really thought, what am I reading? I really don't know what am I reading, but I felt intuitively like this is okay. And there was a voice that said, it doesn't matter that you don't know yet. You will know. Just go on, do it, and it will click, And even my English was not so good. So I thought, how can I do this? I really don't know. So I was looking for English classes, to learn English. And then that voice came like, you don't have to do that. Just be relaxed, just flow, and it will come. It will come. And it came.
Oh,
So
yeah, wow.
yes, yes.
So you've just learned like just naturally, like just
Yes, naturally, yes. Because I
wow.
know that I thought, oh, I really have to take English lessons and all those things, and it was not. It just came, and now I'm reading books in English. I can also read it in Dutch, but I don't like to read it in Dutch. I like to read it in English,
Yeah.
and so it just came that the masters helped me, and ever since I found that path, I was totally like. I knew what to do exactly because I felt intuitively back then. I didn't know what was my intuition, but I felt intuitively what to do, how to listen to the masters. I knew I was tuned in, even though I didn't know I was tuned in. I know now I was tuned in back then, but it was just all so. It was just in the flow, and I listened very carefully to them, like when they said like when they talked about the attachments to giving certain invocations and that you have to do it. And then I just tested myself, am I really attached to an invocation, or a path of the seven rays? Can I really put it like for a day that I don't do it or whatever? Is there a separate self that then comes up, and it's a self you have to do it because or else something bad will happen or whatever? So I tested myself if regularly, if I have attachments and all those things the masters talked about in their during the conferences and in all those readings or teachings. So I was really studying it, and I'm still doing it right now. And I love it, I love it. And I feel intuitively what to do, what kind of equivocations, what not to do, what to stop. And, it's like that process is like I did it before because I really think like, I think I did this. I must have done this before because it's so naturally flowing, and I know exactly what to do and how to look at the separate self and all those things. Like, I don't know. It's just I love the process, and it's just like I know it, even though it feels new, So yes,
Yeah. It's I know it's sort of like when a reaction comes up, when we experience some sort of suffering or pain, we know like, there's a separate self or more here to look at.
yes,
Now we have these tools, we have teachings and we have invocations and we know we can work through it. So there's not like this fear, there's not this long held attachment to that self either. It's just like we just know, I've done this before, I can do it again. I can
yes,
solve this.
yes,
Yeah, quite
yes. Yes, and we descended to that 48 level of consciousness or something like that. So we know how the path, we know how to climb back. You know, we know how to climb back. So because we descended, so we also know our Christ self knows how to climb back, how to make that higher choice, you know, because we made the lower choices. So
Mm.
of course we know, but
And
we
that's
have
why
to just,
we need spirit, we need the masters, we need
yes,
Holy Christ self to shine a light upon that next step up, because
yes.
we're down here, like, we just need someone to go, here you go, just have a look at that, and like, I can't see it.
Yes, and I know there's something because I still, you know, every day I think, well, I'm still alive, so there is more. I'm still here, so I'm not done. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sort of finding too, like the further I dig deep into all of this, like sometimes, like, some of the stuff that's been buried deep, 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 like beneath all of these selves, like, yeah, there's some really deep pains in there, like really deep traumas. But yeah, at the same time, yeah, I'm not sort of freaking out about it. Like, well, I try not to freak out about it. I just think, look, it's just another one. It's just another one.
Yes, and it's just that I experience that whatever happens outside of me or inside of me, it's also possible, of course, because that's just, you know, but there's that space that like kind of the space that I can go back to, like that peaceful space, you know? So like you have all the chaos around it and you experience it and you feel it and you feel the pain, you feel sometimes anger, you feel maybe other things, but you know that behind that I experience that behind that there's just that space where I can like turn back to and just, even though I experience all the pain and the chaos sometimes, or maybe fear or whatever it is, I just know that there's just that space where where there's just that conscious you, that neutrality or the peace or the of the Buddha, or you know, I can't call it a name, but I know it's there. So then I feel at peace because I know that everything that's happening around me, it's just, it will come and it will go. I will survive. I will overcome it. So it's just okay.
Mm.
Even if it is very hard to go through it and to experience it sometimes, I know it will just, I know I will survive, you know? I know I will go on. And I have that basis from where I built and from where I just take that next step. There's also that, there always is that peaceful space where I can turn back to, you know?
Yeah.
So that's nice to have, you know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, like, I'm curious, like, how are you going with translating, what you're doing and applying the teachings with, like, in your work situation? I'm always curious about this because I never got the chance to consciously work through work situations while working on Selves. So where are you at with
Yes.
that?
Do you mean like how do I, if I use the Ascended Master teachings in my work situation, if I do apply it in my work situation with people,
How do you,
or?
how do you balance it all together? Like, is it affecting, how you're approaching your work, or the relationships within your work, like, or is there discrepancies? Like, where are you at with that?
Well, I'm so grateful that I have the teachings because the masters teach me, they are an example to me, like they accept us, they love us unconditionally. So they teach me how to love other people unconditionally. I sometimes I have certain opinions, but also that I want to accomplish because I in my work, it's about having results. But the masters taught me that like when I'm working from my heart, and now I'm trying to teach that to other people at my work, then when you're working from the heart, the results come automatically, like in my work, you know? It's amazing what happens when you are just reaching out to people from the heart, when you're helping them and accepting them, and they know you are there for them. You know, they know that you not judge them. They know they can be themselves, even if they make a mistake. I'm just okay with it. Then I say to them, well, okay, then we try a different thing. We try this thing, then we can try another thing. Or, okay, you made this mistake. It's okay. Or sometimes people are angry at me, or because I challenge them, and then I don't react negative. I say to them like, okay, well, it's if is that the way you go, then go. It's okay. You know, if you want to leave, it's okay for me. I wish you all good. And then they return. Some people return, not all of them. And then they say, oh, sorry, you know, I really want to work on with whatever it is they want to work on. And then they come back, and then they are more open. And it's so amazing what happens with people. Like they are just, well, I work with them for 1, 2, or even sometimes for 3 years, but they really make a switch because they are open and they want to make it. And the master taught me just how to love from the heart and just accept them, and what effect that has on other people. Like the masters have that effect on us, on me. I know they love me. Whatever I think, whatever I say, whatever I do, I know they love me and they accept me. And that is what I want to give to others also. And that is what I really, really am working on in my work. And not also with the people like the clients, but now even with my colleagues. Like lately, I also teaching my colleagues how to do it. And it's very nice to give that love also to them. Like, it's okay. It's okay. You are building, like, it's every step we take, we are building something, and it's all about consciousness. It's not about the outer results. So the masters are really an example for how I want to give my service, and I'm just doing as much as I can by raising my consciousness and giving a higher service, a higher form of that love. Yes, so.
Yeah, and I just got a sense of when you were talking, like how that love won't reinforce their illusions either. Like, you know, like it's kind of like, I love you, but, you know, I'm not going to reinforce the the bullshit
Yes.
projecting.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's really, so I'm so grateful to have that guidance from the masters, because I really don't want to do it in the human way, like have the expectations, judging other people and all those things, because that's really not how I want to be there present, you know? So I don't want to give other people like the feeling that they are less, or they are not worthy, or they made a certain mistake or whatever. Who am I to judge them, you know? So I just want them to feel accepted and loved by me. And even if they don't accept my love, you know, it's okay. But then I gave it, and it's okay, you know? I know I did it, and for me, then I'm happy with it.
yeah. Yeah, like the sun's not going to stop shining, so why should our love stop flowing? Like,
Yes, exactly. Like that rose, you know, there is an invocation about a rose, you know, whatever, however dark it is around it, the rose is still like giving its fragrance, or, you know, it's still that rose. It's not less, because And the sun is not less because other people don't like to see it. It's still the sun, you know. You can love it or not, you can hide from it, but the sun doesn't think like, oh yeah, this person just hides from me and now I'm less, you know. I don't want to. I also want to feel that about myself, and I like that other people feel it when they are around me, that they feel accepted and loved, and it's okay that they can be open and be themselves, you know. It's, yes, that connection from the heart. That's what I love about my connection with people.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Well, I can really feel your beautiful heart connection. Flow of love through you, like, yeah.
Yes.
Um, yeah. And so with that, we're pretty much at the end point now, unless there's sort of
Are we?
yeah, yeah, we are. Unless there's
Wow.
like one more thing you want to share. Where are you at? Do you feel complete, or is there one more thing you want to share?
No, I'm happy that you do these interviews because, well, I was a lot of years I was at the back. I was not really communicating with other students or whatever, and I'm happy that you are doing these interviews. I really, even though I don't have a lot of communication with other students, I just feel connected because I'm also in the Facebook group. So I really am happy that we can connect now more, that we can attend the conferences again. We all are have grown. Like a few years ago, the last conference I attended was like 4 or 5 years ago, I think. And I really am curious about other people in this movement, like how others did grow, or, you know, I really am curious about it. And I like to meet the students and to share with each other and to be like more, like I told you before, we are all diamonds, you know, and it's nice to feel that you are a diamond, like you are a sun, and then when you put all these suns, you know, all the suns together, all the diamonds, then you have one shining brightening light. And I hope that you're like, you know, it's like we are more together, and I hope that we will grow, you know, together, and that we will connect also together more, so that, like, I have this connection with you now, and I really feel that flow of love, and I hope that I will can experience it with also other students. So I just thank you for it, and for the opportunity you give to all the people to just show themselves and let their voice, like, be present, you know. So
Look, it's a beautiful experience. I feel really honored and joyful to do this. Like, you know,
yes,
it feels so good. Like I'm always learning and becoming more, and I know I'm sharing an opportunity for you to be more, for everyone.
yes,
So
yeah, thank you.
yeah,
Yes, I'm happy that you do that. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So yay! All right.
Yeah, you are in your morning routine.
Yeah.
I am in my night routine in Croatia.
I know, I'm ready. I need to go for a walk, get some energy out.
Yes, I
I
need
need-
to go to sleep. Well, I don't feel like I have to go to sleep, but I know I have. I will. I will.
Okay. All right. So we'll close down this recording now. So goodbye, viewers. See ya.
Bye bye.